What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening, and today we are going to be looking at your fragrances. I haven't quite shown my full collection, or at least, all of my bottles on display. Some of you guys have seen some of my collection on my lives, but I've never really showed my whole collection, which, we'll get to that. But for now, I want to rate your collection. There's a couple different parameters I'm going to use, but all in all, I wanted to interact with the community and see what you guys are smelling like, see if there's any personality traits I might be able to gather, and maybe make some recommendations on fragrances you should put in your collection or remove. Now, that's completely subjective, but I will be honest if I feel like something's out of place or something like that, just to keep it interesting. I don't know how long this is going to go, but I've got about 30 collections we can look at, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, we might have to break this into two parts because I don't want to make it an hour and a half long episode. We want to try and dial these into like 20-30 minutes just to get in, get out, have some entertainment value for you. And I'm excited to see the fragrance collections behind some of the people that view this channel. So without further ado, let's switch screens here and let's get cracking. So this first submission, I'm not sure the name of this person. Now, I did say initially you could provide your name if you wanted a shout out, but this person is just submitting their picture and we'll leave it at that. So some people will get shout outs, some people will just be anonymous. All right, so looking at this fragrance collection, with no particular order, we've got fragrances from Armaf, Lattafa. We've got some name brand stuff. I'm seeing all the Mahir Legacy, Gold, Black, and Silver, Eternal Oud, Offnon, Ralph Lauren, Vintage Radio. We've even got some gray flannel mixed in there with some old Versace Dreamer. And, I'm just beholding this collection here. It looks like kind of a combination from this is what I started with, and then, it looks like he had about 5 bottles or so, and then he kind of got into the clone category and started picking up, $30 clones and whatnot. On the bottom there, he's got some travel sprays, some sample kits, some samples from Creed, Ralph Lauren, and Polo. Well, I think that's the same company, but you know what I'm saying. There's 2 different sample kits there. And we've got a special little Kamra Kawa sitting on the bottom right-hand side, which that bottle looks the best, obviously, in comparison to the rest of the collection, which is probably why he isolated it, or maybe it's just his run for right now. This fragrance collection to me gets about, I'd say maybe an 8 out of 10. I'm not really rating this in terms of bangers per se. Like, does this person have great fragrances? Because I think that's quite opinionated. I'm mostly just looking at versatility, size of collection, how much variance there is, and if there are some bangers or not. These are mostly sweet fragrances, if you notice, and some fresh mixed in there. Fresh with gray flannel, Mercedes-Benz, Versace Dreamer, a lot of the Polo stuff, some Legends Red, Nautica Voyage, stuff like that. But then you've got sweeter fragrances with most of the Mahir Legacy line, Eternal Oud, Vintage Radio, Kawa, Rams Gold, Rams Silver, Milestone. All those are going to be super sweet fragrances. But yeah, this is a pretty good collection, and I think it's fairly versatile. You've got sweet and you've got fresh, so you've got spring, summer, you've got fall, winter. I think maybe this person could mix in some different kind of elements of fragrance, though. I like that they have them here Legacy Black, because that's a very smoky, incensey type of fragrance. So that's kind of like the cool nuance to this collection. I think when it comes to maybe Armaf, for instance, having some Club de Nuit Intense Man in there to get kind of more fruity stuff in the collection. It's funny, as Amethyst in there, Oud for Glory or Oud for Greatness is obviously would be a good addition to have kind of a smoky mystery type of fragrance. Even like some more earthy fragrances in this collection might be nice. You got the gray flannel, but maybe like the next rendition of that, maybe jump up to Terre de Hermes. What was the other one? Lattafa's Phaton. Nice Terre de Hermes clone, something real green and earthy to maybe throw in that mix, not just have like kind of out of the shower fresh. Maybe even some more like seductive, mysterious type fragrances. You've got some Jean Paul Gaultier knockoffs in there, some Eternal Oud, but you could probably mix it up in the romance category and get something along the lines of, Givenchy, some Privé, maybe some Iris, something like that. But not bad. I give this an above average collection. Maybe some people who are enthusiasts would look at this collection and think it's pretty average, but there's probably like 20, 25 bottles sitting there, and there is some versatility within them. Maybe even the next step for this person is to step into some more niche or name brand, throw some Hasselblad in there, throw some Mancera, just to kind of see what upscale perfumery looks like, because in a heartbeat, I would take 5 or 10 of those fragrances and try to sell them to scrape up some money to maybe throw in some Vetiver Sensual or some Instant Crush, Tonka Cola. What else? What other brands would I put him on to? Anything around the $100 to $150 price point, you definitely might want to have something like that in there, just as kind of an upscale fragrance you bust out when the time's right. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. I'm going to cut him some slack. Next collection here, we have another anonymous user. And we've got a lot of, I think, niche here. Falcon Leather, Grand Soir. I think there's a Gris Charnel sitting somewhere in there. Some Nichane, some Memo Paris, some Amouage, some Givenchy. This is nice. I would say about half of these fragrances I probably haven't even heard of, but we've got some Initio here. Oh, nice. I didn't realize my mouse showed up, so we can kind of scroll through here. We've got some Gourmands, Oajan. That's a really nice, sweet, fresh fragrance. Which Nichane is that? Passion Choco? Never heard of that. But this looks like a kind of maybe an older gentleman. A lot of very specific, nuanced fragrances that you don't quite hear of. Some Frederic Malle there. That's really nice. Some Amouage. Some Tom Ford. So this is an expensive collection, probably easily north of a few $1,000s for a collection like this. And it just seems like almost everything is probably a banger. Notable fragrances that I see is obviously this Initio right here. Some Amouage there, some Frederic Malle, Memo Paris. I've never smelled Winter Palace. I'm more of a fan of African Leather. Oajan is an absolute banger from Parfums de Marly. I give this collection probably like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. There's a lot of versatility here. There's a lot of mystery, seduction, multi-layered dimension fragrances, nuanced fragrances. But it seems like this individual is definitely a Dapper Dan. Even some 8 and Bob over here in the corner, some by Killian. Great collection here. 9 or 10 out of 10. Sometimes it's not always about having a ton of bottles. This person right here probably has about 30 bottles in here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 33. Yeah, so 33 fragrances here. That's plenty. And he's mixed it up between niche and just high quality name brand. And so I got to give it some props. Great collection there. Let's move along. Okay. Next fragrance collection is from another anonymous, and we kind of have some usual suspects here, and it's a mix between, the kind of $80 to $150 price point name brand fragrances, and we've even got some clones in there. I love that Dolce & Gabbana K in the top, the Scandal, YSL-Y, Azzaro Most Wanted. We've even got some Halloween Man in there. I've actually smelled this one. I would definitely swap that out and get something like Halloween Man Shot or just the original purple bottle. Some Coach for Men. I think that's YSL Myself. I'm not quite sure. Some Amir Sadrat Essence, which you guys have seen me totally talk up a ton on this channel. I'm not sure if that's like some Paco Rabanne. Off on Supremacy Silver. You know, we've got some good bangers in here, man. I think this is like a good utility bundle where it's like it's going to get the job done. You've got some expensive smelling stuff in there. You've got some seduction. You've got some fresh. All of this stuff is very sophisticated. I'm not sure. Oh, I was going to say I'm not sure if this is actual Louis Vuitton, but I could tell by that flower here. This is definitely Maison Alhambra, I believe. Some Jean Low or something like that. But I give this fragrance collection an 8 out of 10. Slightly above average. He's got some versatility between fresh and seductive romantic in here. And this is kind of like a nice bachelor collection. So well done there. Stuff I would recommend. I don't know, maybe just some more fresh, some more earthy. You know what I'm saying? It definitely looks like you've got the dough to get some bottles here. So, I mean, I would trade 2 of these in, maybe get like some 8 and Bob Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Some Hassavat. Maybe some, I don't know, even like some Ferragamo or some Bentley in there. I think you could still get that fresh sophistication just to mix it up and not have all of it be so sweet and seductive. But, you know, he's got some fresh in there, so I give him that. A lot of these look like super full bottles, so I would definitely say start putting it to use. This one right here. Oh, this is some Ferragamo. I'm not sure if this is Uomo's signature or not. It doesn't look like it, but yeah, good collection there. Pretty solid. Another anonymous user here who has a ton of niche. Got your typical suspects, you know, your Dior Sauvages, some Mancera. We've got red tobacco in there. You know, shout out to Trey Fragrance. He loves him some red tobacco. Parfums de Marly. I love the versatility here. You've kind of got this random bottle of what looks like Grand Soir, maybe. And, you know, it's kind of like a free floater fragrance, but then you've got some Guerlain and some Banana Republic. Ton of Amouage. Memo Paris, some Montaigne, forget which one that is. A lot of Xerjoff sitting here. I almost have to give this fragrance collection a 10 out of 10. The only reason I would give it a 9 is just because some fragrances here seem a little out of place, not just due to price. You know what I'm saying? Like these random Banana Republics here. Midnight Hour here is going to get you kind of that Creed Aventus vibe. This looks like Tonka Bean, Tobacco Tonka Bean, or Amber or Cherry, and forget what the cherry fragrance is called, but nonetheless, a lot of bangers here for sure. This person definitely has too much money and too much time on his hands. He's got a lot of super bangers here, a lot of Initio here. I think that's Side Effect. Oud for Greatness. But yeah, not much can be said about this other than when you have money like this, you know, this is probably well above 10, 15 grand for a collection like this, I think. And yeah, this looks like a guy who just kind of walks into Neiman Marcus and says, hey, what's the latest fragrance of the day? And he cops it. You know what I'm saying? So when you've got that kind of money at your disposal, you know, that's what you're going to do. Some Allure Homme Sport in the back, some Givenchy. Can't be mad at this collection at all. 9 or 10 out of 10 for sure. Next fragrance comes from one of our subscribers. Crosby is how I saw it. And I believe Crosby has 2 pictures. So we're going to look at both of those. This is definitely a utility bundle if I've ever seen one. You know, we've got some Assad, some Stronger With You, I believe EDT. I think that's definitely the lighter one because the other Stronger With You Intensely, I think, has got a browner juice. Some Club de Nuit Intense Man, some Kismet Magic, you know, some knockoff Angel Share. Versace Eros Eau de Parfum, great utility, all-around fragrance, really well done here. Here's Crosby's second picture. Jimmy Choo, JPG, some blue jeans sitting in the background. That's cute. Off and On, Curve. So this is more of the stuff that I think he kind of started off with and then maybe branched into some Versace and Alt and Jimmy Choo, JPG. Then he's hitting you with that Kawa and the original Camera. I think having both of those fragrances is a bit redundant, but because Kawa was a more recent release, it's totally likely that he liked Camera and was really interested to see what Kawa would offer. So we're not going to harp on him too much for that. He definitely has cracked a dent, if you notice, in his Versace Eros Energy. He definitely cracked a dent in this off and on 9 p.m. Definitely a fan of some sweet fragrances. We've even got some Cremo here, which, when I was starting out, I've tried a couple of the Cremos, and, they're actually in kind of line with the, what is it called? Axe body spray line. These are kind of like the next upscale level of cheap. Cremo makes a lot of good note pairings with their combinations to feel both gentlemanly, but still have a young, fresh feel. So I'm not mad at that at all. I don't know if this is Aqua or Ice. I think this is Jimmy Choo. Oh, it's got to be Aqua because this one's Ice right here. And, classic blue jeans sitting in the back. So this is definitely a fragrance collection that he has accumulated over an amount of time. But I'm not mad at it. We've got sweet. We've got fresh sweet. We've got some utility out of the shower stuff if he's not really going outdoors. And then we've got some bangers over here. Angel Share, Eros, Assad, your Sauvage Elixir, Stronger With You. So this is definitely the Bachelor bundle. Next, we have Daniel Pronsa or Pronka. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And appreciate your submission. Got another type of utility bundle here, but honestly, I'm not really mad at it. We've got Eau de Parfum and Parfum versions of Acqua di Gio. Not quite sure how he acquired both of those. Maybe they were gifted to him, because I don't really know in any situation why I would purchase Profondo, EDP, and Parfum, unless you're like a super fan of that fragrance and you wanted to have both. But it looks like maybe one of these was gifted to him or something, and then he acquired the other one. Then we've got some Paco Rabanne here, some sweet, some Aquatic Fresh Sweet, some Azzaro, some Eros Eau de Parfum, great utility fragrance. Never really heard of this Jasada brand. I don't know if that's kind of like a cheapy brand or whatnot. We've got some Prada. We've got some YSL, some Dylan Blue, some Dior Sauvage, and my favorite fragrance in this collection, Narciso Rodriguez Blue Noir, sitting in the corner, which he's cracked quite a dent in. So I'm not mad at this collection at all. It's got gentlemanly, fresh, sweet, and then some seductive fragrances. This collection leans more on kind of the fresh, sophisticated, and then he's got a couple of nighttime bangers for, date night, or if he wants to be a little more dapper. So I'm not mad at that. He's cracked a serious dent in that Dylan Blue, as you guys can see the lines right there. So this is a guy who uses his fragrances. Who would have thought? Nice dent cracked there. And yeah, I give this collection maybe, say about average. You know what I'm saying? Great selections for sure. Good taste. But what would I recommend you add to a collection like this? Wow, that was a crazy freeze screen. That'll be, somebody clip that. What would I add to a collection like this? It looks like, if you're into fresh, maybe dabbling in some vetiver, so you don't just have like fresh citrus on woods, but you can kind of get some more sophistication in that category. What would I recommend specifically? Like some Terre de Hermes, some Lalique line, Lalique white, Lalique black and white, Lalique Ecus, something like that. Some green, you know what I'm saying? Some there's not a lot of like super sweet fragrances here, so I might recommend you jump into maybe some Kamra, Kawa, maybe have some more mystery to this collection, like some Oud for Glory type vibes. But definitely you've got citrus on woods covered, and then some spices with some seduction. Maybe throw, if you like Blue Noir, maybe throw in some Dior Homme, even some 8 and Bob Egypt for $100 would definitely, I think 8 and Bob Egypt would be a great complementary fragrance to counteract the Narciso Rodriguez, because it's going to smell close to it, but it's going to be much more Hasavati Not in regards to the pineapple, but in regards to like a more oak moss take on a seductive fragrance. Maybe even throw some Bentley in there to give you some more like herbal slash fougere slash sophistication to your fresh assortment here. But great collection there. Great collection for sure. Next, we have an anonymous submission. Got a lot of fragrances here. Let me just take a while to check this out. Spice Bomb, Bleu de Chanel, YSLY, Dolce Light Blue, some La Nuit de l'Homme, some Red Tobacco. So this looks like a fragrance collection that was accumulated over time. This guy shops at like a Sephora or a Kohl's or something like that. And he kind of just smells stuff on the test strip and goes after it. This collection could definitely use some niche. I think this is a little above average, maybe like an 8 or 8 out of 10. There's not a lot of like niche or clone here. But he's definitely got all the usual suspects. Some redundance here with Bleu de Chanel. He's got 3 Bleu de Chanels. That's kind of crazy. Let's see. He is messing with some clones here. Club de Nuit Intense Man. We've got a lot of YSL dipped in here. Some Dior. Some Allure Homme Sport. I don't really know what fragrance specifically, but after this collection, you probably want to start going niche or getting some expensive fragrances in the line. Maybe some more like Mancera, or some like MFK or some Parfums de Marly. You know, kind of dip in that $150 price point to kind of smell the finer things in life. This fragrance right here, I really don't like. Platinum Egoist. Such a beautiful fragrance, but they have a note of black pepper in it that is just so jarring. It's not even funny. You know, a lot of YSL. This guy loves him some YSL for sure. Probably give this collection maybe an 8 or even a 9 out of 10. Definitely going to get the job done for sure. There's a lot of fragrances in here that I think probably don't belong. You know, a lot of this stuff. He's got some Armani Code in there as well. That's nice. But yeah, some good versatility in here for sure. Red Tobacco. I really don't like that fragrance, but a lot of people love it. So, you know, I'm not gonna hate at all. Some Prada, Jean Paul Gaultier. Yeah, man, this guy has a bottle, you know, one of everything in a local Sephora or Ulta Beauty. So that's nice. Do we have anything else? Okay. This is from an anonymous as well. And what do we have here? We've got some Creed in here. I think there was Tobacco Vanille on one of the other fragrances, but we've got some Oud Wood, some Creed Aventus. I don't know what fragrance this duck is. That's hilarious. Is that even a fragrance? It looks like it might be because that looks like a line level for some fragrance. It's so funny, the mix here, because you got Tom Ford and Creed, but then you've got some gray flannel, and he's got 2 bottles of it, almost like a bottle and a refill. So he must be an older gentleman. That's definitely a vetiver-based fragrance, but it's very green, almost like some Eau Sauvage, older type of fragrance from Dior. Some light blue. So it looks like he kind of started off with some beginner fragrances, you know, Tommy, JPG, light blue. And then he kind of upgraded a couple of, you know, Paco Rabanne, YSLs, and then immediately moved into the hardcore stuff. Splashed some Aventus and some Tom Ford. I don't know what this is over in the corner. This one right here. Almost looked like Parfums de Marly for a second. It might actually be, but I'm not sure. And I can't quite read this one either. But really good collection here. Here's some L'Homme. You guys know I'm a sucker for YSL L'Homme. I think it's the best one in the line. Some Dior Sauvage and some Polo Green. So this is definitely kind of a very hodgepodge collection, but it's definitely particular enough to where I feel like all of these fragrances weren't blind bought. You know, he smelled these before he got into them. I would give this an 8 out of 10 because there are some bangers here, but there isn't a lot of versatility. It's more just kind of like almost feels somewhat random in like 4 or 5 of these bottles. But nonetheless, he's got some Gentleman, he's got some Sweet, he's got some Fresh. This might be a little bit of a utility bundle, but due to the Creed and the Tom Ford, I'm going to give him a couple of brownie points. Oh, and that's a little bit of my collection. I have some stuff in crates and whatnot, but this is my most recent stuff I've been playing with. Got a lot of stuff that you guys have seen on the channel. A lot of knockoffs, some name brand. You know, we've got the Lalique line in here. We've got the CDN Club de Nuit line, significant amount of that. Some Dior, some Fragheads Asylum. A lot of knockoffs in here we've been reviewing lately. So we've got our Aqua di Gio, Dior, Elysium, Aventus Vibes, Cedrat Boisé, some Gris Charnel, Oud for Greatness. There's just a lot going on here. A lot of versatility in this collection. I'm not really going to rate my collection since this isn't the entirety of it. But as you guys can see, we've got a lot going on here. There's probably, what, 5, 10, maybe like 35-ish bottles in here, 40-ish. And then for those of you who don't know, this is my utility box right here. This has like a bunch of test strips, a ton of samples. Here's some stuff we're going to go over in the future. I've got a couple sample kits and a bunch of individual samples, some decants. This utility box is full of decants. We've got the entire Banana Republic line. And yeah, so this is what you guys will see me lately going through in my lives. This is kind of just a display set so that people can see the fragrances. Because when you go live, if you don't have bottles, you know, in the camera view, people get confused and don't want to tap in. But yeah, man, I've really been rocking lately with this, man, Sarah Vetiver Sensual. That's been like an absolute banger for me recently. Yeah, I mixed some Versace Eros recently with the Bentley line. I think I've got quite a few Bentley in here just kind of hiding. Let's see. Is there Bentley in here? Let's see. I know I have about 4 bottles of Bentley. There's some Bentley there in the back. Maybe back in here hiding. There's some Bentley. But yeah. So there's a good amount of fragrances there. Just wanted to show you guys some of my stuff. For those of you who don't know, I do have a background in mixed media art. So this is one of my watercolor paintings I did of a basket of laundry. And then this is kind of like an abstract piece. And I do, you know, in this studio behind me, one side is like a film studio type of thing, which I haven't really showed you guys yet, but we'll get into that later. And then this side, which has this painting as well with this collection, is like my computer, my camera, my lighting, my soundproof walls and stuff like that. So just wanted to show you guys some of the room, some of the collection. And like I said, we won't rate it. But anyways, let's go back out to the main screen real quick. That was our episode of, we're not really calling it anything, but me rating your guys' collection. And we have a part 2 coming up soon where we will look at some more subscribers from the channel. And I always appreciate you guys for interacting. I'm always trying to find ways to bring you the nuts and bolts information you're looking for. Also give you some resourceful information, document my journey, obviously, try everything under the sun from clones and inspirations to niche to retail name brand, cheap to expensive. And, I wanted to see a lot of your collections. I felt like it really reveals, personality and puts some more definition behind the face when I see your guys' stuff in the comments. If you'd like to get your collection rated, you can always send pictures to scentbubblesubmit@gmail.com. Again, that's scentbubblesubmit@gmail.com. And we'll continue to rate people's collections and to make recommendations and stuff like that. You guys are rocking with me in the Scent Bubble. Hope you guys have a blessed week. We've hit the 30-minute mark, so I think that's a good stopping point for us for now. And until next time, this is the Scent Bubble signing